another reading out of the New Living Translation Bible. I hope everyone had a wonderful day today. Here in Brampton, we have a little bit of rain, but I don't mind at all. I love the rain. I find it to be calming and relaxing. I had a blessed day today, and I'm thankful for another amazing day from God. So today we will be reading chapter 19, which is titled Sodom and Gomorrah. Let us begin. That evening, two angels came to the entrance of the city of Sodom. Lot was there, and when he saw them, he stood up to meet them. Then he welcomed them and bowed with his face to the ground. My lords, he said, come to my home to wash your feet and be my guests for the night. You may then get up early in the morning and be on your way. I like how hospitable Lot is, and it makes me ask myself, am I hospitable when people are in town visiting or when someone needs a place to stay? So it helps me reflect on myself, and it gets me to ask myself, what am I doing to be hospitable? Oh no, they replied. We will spend the night out here in the city square. But Lot insisted, so at last they went home with him. Lot prepared a feast for them, complete with fresh bread made without yeast, and they ate. But before they retired for the night, all the men of Sodom, young and old, came from all over the city and surrounded the house. They shouted to Lot, where are the men who came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. Now, a lot of scholars, when they talk about Sodom and Gomorrah, they say the sin of Sodom and Gomorrah is being inhospitable, and that when we have guests, we're supposed to be kind and welcoming. But what the men of Sodom are doing aren't very kind and welcoming. Hello, Blaze Rod. Hello, Ibadat. Happy Tuesday. So we see them not being very hospitable. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have two virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please, leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection. Hello, Kay. So far, we're reading Sodom and Gomorrah, and the men of Sodom are surrounding Lot's house and demanding that the angels be brought out. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men. And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. But the two angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. Then they blinded all the men, young and old, who were at the door of the house, so they gave up trying to get inside. So we see that the angels of the Lord have blinded the men so they could not get inside to do anyone any harm. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot. Do you have any other relatives here in the city? They asked. Get them out of this place, your sons-in-law, sons, daughters, or anyone else, for we are about to destroy the city completely. The outcry against this place is so great it has reached the Lord, and he has sent us to destroy it. So Lot rushed out to tell his daughter's fiancés, quick, get out of the city. The Lord is about to destroy it. But the young men thought he was only joking. So we see that the young men think that Lot isn't serious about what is about to happen to Sodom and Gomorrah. At dawn the next morning, the angels became insistent. Hurry, they said to Lot. Take your wife and your two daughters who are here. Get out right now, or you will be swept away in the destruction of the city. When Lot still hesitated, the angel seized his hand and the hands of his wife and 2 daughters and rushed them to safety outside the city, for the Lord was merciful. When they were safely out of the city, one of the angels ordered, "Run for your lives, and don't look back or stop anywhere in the valley. Escape to the mountains, or you will be swept away." "Oh no, my lord," Lot begged. "You have been so gracious to me and saved my life, and you have shown such great kindness. But I cannot go to the mountains. Disaster would catch up to me there, and I would die. I would soon die. See, there is a small village nearby. Please let me go there instead. Don't you see how small it is? Then my life will be saved." So we see that the mountains may be too far for Lot, so he asks the angels of the Lord if he can go to a small town that's kind of near and his life will be saved there. "All right," the angel said, "I will grant your request. I will not destroy the little village, but hurry, escape to it, for I can do nothing until you arrive there." This explains why that village was known as Zoar, which means little place. Lot reached the village just as the sun was rising over the horizon. Then the Lord rained down fire and burning sulfur from the sky on Sodom and Gomorrah. He utterly destroyed them along with the other cities and villages of the plain, wiping out all the people and every bit of vegetation. But Lot's wife looked back as she was following him, behind him, and she turned into a pillar of salt. So we see that the angels of the Lord commanded them not to look back, but Lot's wife did not listen, and she looked back towards these cities and towns, so she was turned into a pillar of salt. Abraham got up early that morning and hurried out to the place where he had stood in the Lord's presence. He looked out across the plain towards Sodom and Gomorrah and watched as columns of smoke rose from the cities like smoke from a furnace. But God had listened to Abraham's request and kept Lot safe, removing him from the disaster that engulfed the cities in the plain. So we see that God was merciful and he saved Lot because, remember, Abraham proved himself righteous with faith. Lot and his daughters. After Lot left Zoar, because he was afraid of the people there, and he went to live in a cave in the mountains with his 2 daughters. One day, the older daughter said to her sister, "There is no men left anywhere in this entire area, so we can't get married like everyone else." Excuse me. "And our father will soon be too old to have children. Come, let's get him drunk with wine, and then we will have sex with him. That way, we will preserve our family line through our father." Now, I think we should remember that this is in a different time and different culture, and that we wouldn't do these things today. But back then, in this different culture, it was a very different time, and they had different customs. So that night, hey Yassine, happy Tuesday. So that night they got him drunk with wine, and the older daughter went in and had intercourse with her father. He was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. The next morning, the older daughter said to her younger sister, "I had sex with our father last night. Let's get him drunk with wine again tonight, and you go in and have sex with him. That way, we will preserve our family line through our father." So that night, they got him drunk with wine again, and the younger daughter went in and had intercourse with him. As before, he was unaware of her lying down or getting up again. As a result, both of Lot's daughters became pregnant by their own father. When the older daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Moab. He became the ancestor of the nation now known as the Moabites. When the younger daughter gave birth to a son, she named him Ben-Ammi. He became the ancestor of the nation now known as the Ammonites. And that is the end of chapter 9. So we see that destruction has come, but Lot and his daughters were saved. and that God has shown his mercy. Now, since I didn't do a video yesterday, we'll continue into chapter 20. Abraham deceives Abimelech. Abraham moved south to the Negev and lived for a while between Kadesh and Shur, and then he moved on to Gerar. When living there as a foreigner, Abraham introduced his wife Sarah by saying, "She is my sister." So King Abimelech of Gerar sent for Sarah and had her brought to him at his palace. Now remember that Sarah is also Abraham's sister, half-sister. But back then it was okay to also marry your half-sister. It was culturally accepted. But that night God came to Abimelech in a dream and told him, "You are a dead man, for that woman you have taken is already married." So we see that God came to Abimelech to warn him that what he's doing is wrong. But Abimelech had not slept with her yet, so he said, "Lord, will you destroy an innocent man, an innocent nation? Didn't Abraham tell you she is my sister?" And she herself said, "Yes, he is my brother. I acted in complete innocence. My hands are clean." In the dream, God responded, "Yes, I know you are innocent. That's why I kept you from sinning against me, and why I did not let you touch her. Now return the woman to her husband, and he will pray for you, for he is a prophet. Then you will live. But if you don't return her to him, you can be sure that you and all your people will die." Abimelech got up early the next morning and quickly called all his servants together. When he told them what had happened, his men were terrified. Then Abimelech called for Abraham. "What have you done to us?" he demanded. "What crime have I committed that deserves treatment like this, making me and my kingdom guilty of this great sin? No one should ever do what you have done. Whatever possessed you to do such a thing?" So it seems that Abimelech has at least a little bit of faith in God, because he is very upset and he's asking why has Abimelech done this treacherous thing to him. Abraham replied, I thought this a godless place. They will want my wife and kill me to get her. And she really is my sister, for we both have the same father but different mothers." So here we learn that Abimelech and Sarah have the same father but different mothers. "And I married her. And when God called me to leave my father's home and to travel from place to place, I told her, 'Do me a favor. Wherever we go, tell the people that I am your brother.' Then Abimelech took some of his sheep and goats, cattle, and male and female servants, and he presented them to Abraham. He also returned his wife, Sarah, to him. Then Abimelech said, 'Look over my land and choose any place where you would like to live.' And he said to Sarah, 'Look, I am giving your brother 1,000 pieces of silver in the presence of all these witnesses. This is to compensate you for any wrong I may have done to you. This will settle any claim against me, and your reputation is cleared.' So we see here Abimelech is making right for what he had done wrong. And maybe that's God working on his heart and touching his heart to do what is right. Then Abraham prayed to God, and God healed Abimelech, his wife, and his female servants, so they could have children. For the Lord had caused all the women to be infertile because of what happened with Abraham's wife Sarah." And that's the end of chapter 20. So we see that these two chapters were very eventful, and that now Abraham has ended up in Abimelech's kingdom, and that Abimelech has now given Abraham and Sarah lots of possessions and some land to live on. Tomorrow in 21, we will be covering the birth of Isaac, which is one of my favorite parts of the Bible to read, so I'm very excited about that. Thank you for joining me. I pray that you have a good evening, And if you're wondering what Bible I'm reading out of, I'm reading out of the New Living Translation, and it's from Tyndale. So if you are looking into getting a copy of the New Living Translation, just hop on the website and check out Tyndale. They have amazing Bibles for great prices. Have a blessed night.